This is all that remains of a Shia mosque in the village of Nuidrat, just outside the Bahraini capital. Its green dome smashed and lying on its side. Dust covers the mats and carpets where people once prayed. It's one of at least 30 mosques and Shia religious institutions destroyed since the crackdown began on Shia-led protesters in mid-March. That's according to the opposition group Al-Wafaq. Al Jazeera tried time and again to ask people how they felt about the destruction of their place of worship, but no one would talk to us. There were informers everywhere, one man said. The Justice Ministry says it's tearing down the mosques because they aren't licensed. It has promised to provide legal alternatives for what it described as cabins. In some cases, even the rubble is gone, and all that remains is an empty space. And Mudayyif once stood here. That's a place where the community came together for special events on the Shia calendar. Al Jazeera visited Friday prayers at another village to try to speak to people. Everyone insisted we hide their identity.
It's a war waged against identity. The Sunni government of Bahrain is fighting this Shia, destroying their places of worship and holy places.
The destruction of the mosques is unprecedented. It's a solemn act. We never expected the authorities would bring down a house of God. We never expected they would stoop this low. No matter what happens, we are all Muslims, one religion, one blood, one honor. Even if they come and kill our children and women, claiming it's the act of Sunnis, we will never believe it. We have been living together since we were born. We intermarry and we will continue to coexist until Judgment Day. There is no difference between Sunni and Shia. The issue of sectarianism is fabricated by a few.
Detentions and allegations of torture, and now the physical destruction of their places of worship. Some believe the divide between the state and its people is now so wide that nothing will ever fully bridge that gap. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera, Bahrain.
Adil Al-Muawada, he's the deputy chairman of the Bahraini parliament, and he joins us now on the line from Dubai. Mr. Al-Muawada, we're just hearing in that report about the destruction of Shia mosques in your country. Tell us why you're doing this at this time.
First of all, I must say that there is a big exaggeration in some of what I've just heard now about torturing doctors and nurses. In fact, there are some evidence that everybody have seen that is opposite what I just heard now. Regarding the mosques, of course, nobody can imagine at all that the Bahraini government or Bahrain regime will be against the place of worship, whether for Sunni or Shia or non-Muslim as well. And to tell you, there are hundreds and hundreds of mosques and places for worship in Bahrain. Why this 30? And another thing, maybe you don't know, there are Sunni mosque has been removed as well, but nobody has talked about that at all.
Okay, you're saying Sunni mosques. Okay, you're saying Sunni mosques have been removed as well. But let me just go back to this report that we got from Bahrain on these Shia mosques being destroyed. Why are you doing it at this particular time? I ask you again, considering the unrest that's been going on in your country for the past couple of weeks between the government and the Shias.
What is happening in Bahrain now is to make everybody following the law and the order. That's all. The mosques that have been demolished, or most of them are not mosques. There were only expansions of mosques in some private territories. That's what we have. Very few number of mosques, which is illegally built, has been demolished, but mostly are expansions. But you know, photos can play a lot. 3 whole mosques have been removed for Sunni. I have been told by people, but nobody could talk about it because they were illegal. They were illegal. So it is a matter of a law. It is not a war against Shiism. Why to leave hundreds of mosques not touched? and actually is being built by the government.
All right. Well,
the
seeing as it's very difficult for not only journalists but human rights organizations to get into Bahrain at this point, it's difficult to verify this information. But let's move on here, because we've also heard testimonies.
Why should you move on? Yesterday,
because there's a lot that I'd like to talk to you about. Let me just ask you about.
Yesterday, I had an interview with some human rights people, Europeans, and they are in Bahrain, who said maybe some of them who may be referring to societies that abandoned in Bahrain, that's different. But Bahrain is open for everyone. Yesterday I met someone, 3 days ago I met someone. They are coming from everywhere, journalists from everywhere. So there is no...
All right. Okay, Mr. Al-Muawada, we've also heard testimonies of forced confessions by medical staff saying that they were, in fact, tortured into making confessions of criminal acts. How do you respond to that?
Of course, if they would prove that there are criminal acts against doctors or medical people, we will support them actually. But I can bring you hundreds of people could not have any treatment, and they were chucked out of the hospital, and can show you as well so many movies that have been made by the opposition, and it was seen that it was only a play and not true. If it is true, I am the first one to ask for their rights. We don't agree on that thing, but there's so many lies has been being, and now the hospital is open for everyone. And I'm calling Al Jazeera to come and see the hospital. Everybody is being treated with no fear like it was. Expatriates had a very difficult time. They could not go to the hospitals. Now expatriates, what to do with expatriates? If there is it's only asking for rights.
All right, Mr. Muawada, you say that everyone is allowed in, but we know here at Al Jazeera that our journalists have been banned from going into Bahrain. Tell me why.
They are not. They have not been banned, but they should take the full picture and not one-sided, so that it will fool the people who watch the Al Jazeera. You should bring the full picture, not only from one-sided picture, which will affect Bahrain, affect the people of Bahrain. We are working for everyone, even the GCC troops that have been entered in Bahrain. For all Bahrainis, it was acted as they came for a war against Shia. They have not touched any Shia in Bahrain, and they are working for everyone.
Our journalists
that you are showing us now, we don't know. We have seen. We live there. We know there are some true incidents, but there are some very, they're just acts, and now it is open for everyone, and maybe the Bahrain TV.
But just 4 days ago, Mr. Al-Muawada, you're saying it's open for everyone, but just 4 days ago, our journalist, Al Jazeera journalist, he was detained for 3 hours in Bahrain. But I'd like to get your take also on other accounts that we've heard from people in Bahrain, and this is concerning school raids. Young girls being taken away, some of them beaten, threatened with rape as well. Why is this happening?
Actually, you should admit that my dear friend, that what Al Jazeera showed 4 days ago was wrong, was mistake by Al Jazeera, and I hear that they have admitted and they want to show the real picture now. There was a big lie that has been shown on your Al Jazeera channel, and everybody have heard about it. And I think you regret it, and some officials in Al Jazeera said that they didn't know that that was a lie.
Okay,
there are so many lies, and you know.
But the fact is, what's
I can assure you. Let your correspondent call me. I can go with him there.
All right. Okay, but the fact is that there is a Sunni-Shia divide going on in Bahrain at the moment. And people say that perhaps you're getting away with this because there hasn't been much of an international reaction to what's going on in your country.
As some of the people that you have interviewed, we have to live together. We cannot live alone. They cannot live alone, and we cannot live alone. But We have to live in peace and security. We will not allow anybody to ruin our country. We will not let any stranger to interfere in our country. We are a part of the GCC. GCC is one body. We have to live like that. They are supporting us in all aspects, so we have to carry on. What we are calling for is to switch off this moody acts that are happening in Bahrain now and start building our countries. Nobody can throw the regime. A regime is extremely rooted in the country.
All right,
it is
but
not
if
a
there's
part of Bahrain, it's a part of the GCC. They should know this very well.
If they're simply moody acts, Mr. Al-Muawada, you're lifting the emergency state on June the 1st, we hear, but you're keeping the GCC troops in, led by Saudi Arabia. Why do you feel the need to keep the troops in?
It is not led by Saudi Arabia. It is a one body. I told you, GCC is one body. Qatar is part of it. Kuwait is part of it. All the GCC countries are part of it. And they came to safeguard the interest of Bahrain, the electricity, the water, the airport, and this electricity and water is not for Shia only. It goes for every, not for Sunni only. It goes for every house, for Sunnis and Shias. It is for the country, not against the country. They didn't come to stand against the people, and we are asking for rights. We will cooperate with Shia for the people rights, but not in a terrorist acts.
All right, Adil Al-Muawada, talking to us there from Dubai. Thank you.